Recently, a few friends had shared a video with me titled Destiny 2 has a weapon problem, and quite honestly, I was really interested in the video till I watched it, and then I just found out it's about weapon models. And me personally, I don't think weapon models are the biggest issues. However, I can sympathize with people in a looter shooter. People want unique looking gear. However, me, that is not quite honestly the most important or the biggest problem Destiny 2 weapons have. It most definitely is a problem, but not one that we can realistically change 10 years down the line, 1,000 weapons plus in. When it comes to visuals, I think it is the least of our worries when it comes to weapons. While I do understand that some people do not like the reuse of models, when they make sense, they make sense. You don't really need to reinvent the wheel for every single weapon, because if we're going to do that, man, we would be missing about like probably 85% of the weapons that we have, because that takes a lot of resources to make a unique model for every single weapon. We have over 1,000 weapons in this game. We had a unique model for every single one. I doubt that a lot of people would genuinely care to search out for every single weapon still, because at the end of the day, what makes a weapon is its perk pool, its origin traits, and its ability to be craftable or not, or enhanceable, which I think are more major factors when it comes to the Destiny weapon issue that people are discussing as of late. In the gameplay that you're watching right now, I've swapped between Huckleberry and Boondoggle a few times, and if you've noticed, I mean, you clearly look at the models quite a lot. However, in terms of the gameplay, nothing really changes that much. They're both Tex Mechanica SMGs and they function as so. One has the exotic perks that Huckleberry has, the other one is Swashbuckler and Subsistence. They practically function the same exact way. However, if you really get down into it, the Huckleberry will be better in every way because it has way more perks at higher damage values and is an exotic, so it has built-in benefits to its exotic nature. Even though this is the legendary Huckleberry, it can't perform like an exotic Huckleberry. And now, while it may just be a legendary Huckleberry, it doesn't necessarily mean it is all bad. Given the fact that it's a legendary, this means you can use it with other exotics, and possibly in the future, Bungie can make a new legendary Huckleberry, maybe in a different slot or even a different element. Imagine a solar Huckleberry that comes out in season 28 billion, whatever number it is. And now you compare this with something like Chaperone. And if you do remember, Bungie put out this article talking about Tex Mechanica weapons getting a benefit with a gear set that is set to come out possibly sometime in the future. I don't know if it is directly with Frontiers. You get the point. You can now build craft a legendary Huckleberry in the energy slots rather than an exotic Huckleberry in the kinetic slots. I think y'all get the point and what I'm trying to say when it comes to I don't mind the reuse of weapon models, especially when there's build crafting to be involved with the reuse of models or weapon types. Now, I do want to talk about the actual problem with some weapons that do come out, because some of them can just be dead on arrival. Let's take a look at Palindrome that has just come out today, and I don't think I'm going to ever be using this as a mainly PvE player, and I don't really foresee this being better than a new Exalted Truth hand cannon that just came out for PvP. When it comes to the Palindrome, nothing really stands out about it. It is just an arc hand cannon, and even then, it doesn't really feel like it is an arc hand cannon because it only has one arc perk on it, Rolling Storm. Now, Rolling Storm isn't a terrible perk, however, it isn't an exciting perk for something like the Palindrome. Rolling Storm paired with something like explosive rounds is maybe the most exciting and unique combination that this weapon has, but that is setting the bar pretty low. And the fact that Rolling Storm is in the same column as something as Desperate Measures or Master of Arms really doesn't sell the weapon to a PvE player like myself. Not saying that these perks are particularly insanely powerful, however, they seem like the default go-to options for a weapon like the Palindrome if you realistically want to use it. However, this isn't to say that Rolling Storm is terrible altogether. However, I just think it's competing with other perks that obviously are going to be way more useful to majority of players. If this perk happened to be in the third column, we'd be having a completely different conversation right now. Pairing Rolling Storm up with something like Desperate Measures or Master of Arms on an arc build could be pretty fun. Or even better, if we moved Rolling Storm to the left column and added Volt Shot in its place, then you just have one of the best arc hand cannons this game has ever seen, which would be nice for something that comes from endgame PvE, especially one that comes with a specific origin trait Stunning Recovery. Stunning Recovery, when you stun a champion, it refills your magazine, triggers health regeneration, and improves your recovery for a short duration. This would be perfect on a weapon that could stun. And funnily enough, a lot of Stunning Recovery weapons don't have the ability to stun the champions that they need to, and the ones that do aren't particularly popular. So it is almost as if these weapons are made in a specific way to not be used at all with the origin trait whatsoever. It's almost counterintuitive that we have to wait for the seasonal artifacts to be able to take advantage of this origin trait in a lot of cases. Me personally, I find the Palindrome to be dead on arrival. There's nothing really interesting that changes any niches to me as a PvE player, and if we can compare it to the Exalted Truths, I think it's clear which one's the winner between these two weapons. The lack of Lone Wolf on a Palindrome really hurts it in the PvP landscape, especially given that hand cannons tend to perform better in 3v3s, where Palindrome has a lot of its most iconic moments from the Trials of Osiris playlist. I think Bungie made a mistake when trying to both please PvP players and PvE players with this weapon, because they didn't do either. They try to stick right in the middle, and it didn't really pan out. At least that's what I'm assuming. If you really like this weapon, please let me know why you really like this weapon, so maybe I can change my perspective. Because at the end of the day, this is all my perspective when it comes to this weapon. I don't think it pushes the needle in either category. However, I can be wrong, and that's okay if I am wrong, because if I'm wrong and you're right, that means this weapon is better, rather than me saying this weapon is bad, and then it's still bad. Palindrome isn't the only weapon that feels this way that has come out this season. Eyes Unveiled is another weapon that has one unique role on it, however I think it serves too much of a niche to realistically be used. Now this role would be triple tap in Discord. In theory, this is an infinite ammo heavy weapon. However, using a linear to add clear isn't particularly a solid move to go with, nor do I think a lot of players will want to play with this sort of play style. It requires a lot out of you, and the moment you mess up, it's over. The chain is ruined, and now you're using a heavy weapon for add clear, which isn't particularly useful, especially when this is the same season which we get multiple machine guns that perform very well and are way more ammo efficient than a Discord triple tap linear, which is technically infinite ammo. I don't want to be that guy, however, I think quite literally every reprised weapon that has come out this season from the Season of Arrivals is not great at all. I don't see any reason why I'd want to chase any of these weapons. In fact, I think some of these roles are worse than their original roles, if not marginally better. And we've evolved so far past Season of Arrivals that being just marginally better is not enough to really convince me to go chase after a weapon. There's straight up 5 weapons that were reprised that will never get the time of day from me. But hey, if you have a super good role that you think is really worth using, please let me know. I would love to try it out. However, nothing really pushes the needle in my eyes. I think they're all pretty basic, pretty okay weapons. Nothing to really be excited over, nothing really to chase, which sucks because these weapons look really cool. They have a unique look to them. However, when the perk pool is bad, I don't care how a weapon looks because a perk pool is bad. There's nothing for me to chase. There's nothing for me to be excited over. I believe this to be an actual issue with Destiny weapons. Thank you for watching.